So I like to go through a bunch of my sketchbooks, and anything that jumps out at me, I like to mark it and then use it as a reference. But I love this. I wanted to show you this first. I just cleaned my brayer on this piece of, it's in my sketchbook. And then I cleaned my brush, and it's just something about this I love. I wanted to show you that first. And I'm just going to be flipping through some things. That's not what I wanted to show you, but yeah, so I go through, and anything that jumps out at me that might help me with what I'm working on this week, which is still lifes, I mark it, and not the pear, but this, I did a blind contour with a red woody, then I added oranges, I used the black Stabilo a little bit, but this is the kind of stuff I'm looking for, something that grabs me, and so I love that. Let's see, just a flamingo where I started really messy. So my flamingo tabs are here, and my still lives are up at the top. This was just a blind contour. I did it twice, and this time I put an orange wall in. I like that. Of course, you've seen these before, and I love this composition. So I'm going to leave that one open. All right, next, let's see here. Oh, yeah. Love that. Yeah, so sometimes I just come over and I'll just open up to my sketchbook and do a quick painting, 10 or 15 minutes. And a lot of times those are the ones that turn out. I love this. It's funny because I did this sketch about, I don't know, 5 or 6 times. And then some of them I loved. I really like this. This is kind of a different style. It's a little, maybe not as loose, but I just love this. And what I really love is I had an orange background, and it looks like I put like a real light pink on top of the orange. And I love how all this orange is popping through. So that's everything in that book. I'll leave it open to there. Let's see what else we have here. These are just some that I have framed that I pulled out. So I just get me a ton of references. Here's another one similar to that other one. Again, I did pink on green there. You can see it coming through. We got just a page of flamingos that I can reference. Let's see, I missed a couple up here. This one, let's see. I really like the way I did the flowers on this big vase. And here's another blind contour. And more flamingos. More flamingos. And it looks like one more maybe. Let's see here. Okay, another one of these. See how different they all turned out? That one's, I think I put tulips in this one, but I love that purple. And this is interesting because normally I would have put another layer on, but I actually liked, I kind of made a, just where I was brushing it, looked like it made like a dark tulip mark, and it's just darker down here, lighter up here. Like I said, I could have put one more coat on and smoothed that all out, but I actually love that. And I can tell I did maybe a blind contour because I see a lot of orange lines, but I love that. Yeah, so when I go through these, I get all inspired, and I just can't wait to get started. There's more flamingos. Let's see what's next here. More flamingos. Flamingos. Oh, I don't know where I have that marked. That must have been for something else. Okay, and another one of these. Again, very different. Love this. I love how I did this bowl of whatever. Cherries, plums. And I like the greenery here. And I like the pink in the inside of that. So, just... And I like the two-tone of the teal. So I'll have all these out as reference. The other thing I wanted to show you, my library had a sale and I got this book. And when I saw it, I thought, oh, that's cool, reads. You know, I see a lot of garden books, but this one, look at this. So when I started to flip through it, let me find one of the pages. Every few pages has these vases full of flowers. And you know how I'm loving doing, look at this book. It's just full of these little vases and either twigs or branches or flowers. And I love the way the flowers are so sparse. It's just, like I said, not every page, but every few pages are these little compositions. Like, look at this. I love the shape of that pot. And I love these leaves. So I'm going to be using this to do the simple still lifes. But I wanted to show you that book. And anyway, that's how I get motivated. I just sit down and go through my sketchbooks because I work on them at various times. And I don't use just one sketchbook for a certain thing. I put whatever, I'll just grab a sketchbook, whatever is motivating me, and do a quick sketch in it. So that way I can have them all open on the table. Versus having them all in one book. I just have them all open on the table for inspiration. And that's how I get inspired. So I'm going to do a still life on an old painting, and I'm going to use this as reference. And I start out by just loosely sketching with a red woody. Putting in some tulips, some different containers, and now I'm wetting the woody just to activate it. Throwing in some pink, putting in some greens here and there. You can see I'm holding the brush at the end and just kind of letting it roll. I want to add some color to this cup. And this is just the preliminary painting, just kind of getting the shapes and colors in. But as you see moving forward, I'll change it many times. I'm just outlining a few things. I decided to add a table. I like that green swatch at the top, so I'm trying to figure out how to keep that in. So I throw in a chair and then, knock that out. That didn't work. So just putting a little color in the pear and adding that color around. I love when I add this orange here. And then I add a few black lines with my China marker, and then I paint the wall white. So I add the white and then decide this is a good place to stop. I'm going to dry it and put it under some heavy books and then come back to it. So while I have something drying, I decided to flip through my sketchbook, and I ran across this and got super motivated. The flamingos on the right, I can tell I just started with that random swatch of color. So I decided to do a really quick study using that technique. Okay, so back to this reference, I decided to add purple to the whole thing. And yeah, then I knock out the flowers. I'm going to add a little bit of black here and there, and it's fun to just keep changing it. At some point, it might hit me that it's done, but until then, I just keep working on it. And I'll work for a while, and then I'll dry it and flatten it and work on something else. So you can see I'm just changing the shape of a few things here. I add some color, and then I add some outline, and I guess I decide to make that pot bigger. Add another table. I'm going to add some greenery, changing the shape of that cup completely. I decide I want a littler vase there, so I knock that out. Knock the plant out. It's just a constant change. Okay, I decide to put a chair in. That's what I'm doing right here, just trying to get the placement. Sometimes I think a chair really makes a table look more like a table. And I like that shape behind my pots. So I am just putting that in. And now I decide to go dark. Dark with the table. And it's real interesting watching the video back, because there are different moments where I love the painting, and here I'm changing the size of the slats on the chair, and then I knock that vase down again, painting the wall white. Yeah, I'm just trying to decide what to do next. So I'm putting that white in. Let's see here. What do I do next? Okay, I make the table light again. But I can go back and see all the different variations. All right, I'm lightening up that little jug. Then I totally knock that flower out and come back and scrape into it. And I really like how this turns out. It's much more subtle. And I love a muted yellow, kind of a yellow oxide. So I add that to the wall, and I think the blue will be really pretty up against the yellow. So I change that back to blue, and I stop at this point and change the color of the insides, but I'm not sure about that yet. I do it light and then I do it dark. So I'm going to go back and see what I like, but at this point I'm going to stop and dry it and flatten it. Okay, so here's where we are, and as I went back through the video, I liked when the insides of these were more of a white. So I'm going to do that right here, and that's a good reason to record yourself or take pictures along the way so you can see what you like. Now I am thinking that I want the wall lighter. I just feel like I want the painting lighter. Okay, I like the light. I like everything light because I feel like I have dark, kind of outlined everything, and I have the chair. So I have a lot of a dark in there. So when I think I'm finished with something, I like to sign it and put it in a frame and take a look at it. And I really like the shapes in this and the lightness and brightness. So I'm going to call this done. But I do think it's super interesting how many different phases it went through. So I'm going to show you those now. So that was helpful to look back through. And there were actually several where I feel like I could have stopped. But I'm happy with this, and I really appreciate you watching, and I'll see you next time.